So tonight we have a great Clarksburg meeting that's going to talk a little bit about Clarksburg Town Center, also talk about the history and some of the challenges that have been facing the Clarksburg community. What's going on, baby?
Good to see you.
How's everything, man?
Here to see what's going on.
Well, I know you're getting ready to speak. I'm so thrilled that you're doing this meeting too. I live in Clarksburg.
Excellent. But also, the great news is that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and so it's really exciting to be able to share some of that information about how we intend to move forward from here on out. So good evening, Clarksburg. This is an exciting time for us whenever we have a meeting here, because there's such energy and passion that comes from all of the community. And so I'm very excited that you all came out today, so wanted to thank you. And you know that from the very first meeting, I was sworn into office back in December 6th of 2010. And on January 24th, 2011, we had our very first Clarksburg meeting. That was my first community meeting, and it was important for me to find out from you, the Clarksburg community, and many of you, as I look out in the audience, were there. When we had the very first meeting, one of the first things I heard from you is that we don't have a grocery store. We have to go to Milestone to go shopping to get our groceries. Why is that? That's unfair. And we came up with a plan. We came up with a creative, innovative plan in which we would utilize the limited master plan amendment process to make one change in our master plan language, one sentence that would allow us to let a grocery store move forward. That was because of you and your advocacy. So congratulations to you, Clarksburg community. Now, that Clarksburg Village Center, as you see, has a number of other amenities to it as well. It's got the Harris Teeter, it's got the Kicks Karate, the Wells Fargo Bank, Montgomery County Liquors, you've got Subway, Dunkin' Donuts, Passion Nails, and an Exxon gas station. And there's some additional square footage that's out there, so there are other stores that could still come to this village center. So it's really exciting that even more could come to this Clarksburg Village Center. We got that done. What's next? Clarksburg Town Center. That's what I've heard from you. That's what I've seen in the, when Clarksburg Chamber of Commerce did a survey. That was your second item, to make sure that Clarksburg Town Center came to fruition. So that's my next priority. You are the ones that should drive the process in determining what your Clarksburg Town Center looks like, just as you determined that a grocery store was your #1 priority. One of the things that the proposal currently includes is a full-size grocery store, local and national retail stores, as well as restaurants, office space, including a medical office. Right now, currently, they have a space that's allocated for a park with an outdoor amphitheater proposed, and a civic building and a public library. I've heard from a number of residents, why do I have to go to Germantown Library? I am committing to you, as I did before, we will have a library by the end of the next fiscal year on the books for Clarksburg. That's my promise to you. This is the time in which you have to make your stamp on what you want Clarksburg Town Center to look like. Because I believe that this right now is one of the most important things that's facing Clarksburg, is figuring out how we develop Town Center and what makes the most sense for us. Because the longer that we bicker about small pieces, the longer you wait for your #1 priority. That I can't change. What I can do is, once the community has said, this is something that we want to move forward with, I will do everything in my power to make sure that we expedite Clarksburg Town Center as quickly as possible so that you get your next priority and you get what you want. That's what I can do. Construction and leasing in 17 and target opening date 2018. Is that quick enough for you? Anybody think that's fast enough? Any hands? Anybody think that that's okay? Well, that's going to change. If I need to allocate more money to the planning board to make sure that we can get this done quicker, that's what needs to happen. I hope to have the support of my council members when it comes to something like this, and I think that this is not only a district priority, but a Montgomery County priority. We understand the challenges that we put Clarksburg in a long time ago. And it was a responsibility for us to make a difference and turn things around.
Is there a spot in there anywhere for the senior citizens?
If you're familiar with what they do in Damascus, in Damascus, how you have your senior center library, it could actually be a recreation hub as well. What I think of is Germantown Recreation Center, that also is it's a community center, but it's also a place where they have senior programs that are out of it. It also serves as a great community hub to do a number of other things. So that's my hope that we can get to that. That's not a part of the detailed plan yet. It's space right now, and we're still talking about ways in which we might be able to do that. So thank you for that question. Yes, sir.
Are you going to make publicly available to everyone things like traffic studies, runoff studies?
A lot of those things are already available online, and any of those questions that you do have about some of those other items that you might not see, they will definitely be able to provide for you. Those are all things that are part of our planning process that we do in terms of analyzation when it comes to any development, and so they'll be more than happy to provide that information to you.
Why we are doing this so fast before we have any kind of transportation in place?
Well, thank you for that question. I appreciate it. It's very true that I am one that has continued to believe that we need to continue to build infrastructure just like we build development. The reality is that this county has continued to be built along the processes that we build development first and transportation second, and it's unfortunate, and we've all reaped the challenges that are associated with that. What we do now have is a funding source that would be able to fund the Corridor City Transitway. I am very happy to be represented by a person who believes that one of the priorities should be reversible hot lanes to and from Frederick on I-270.
I'm obviously very focused on the situation on the 270 corridor because I think that should be our #1 priority, and it's also is in my district almost entirely. So that's my #1 transportation priority for Montgomery County.
I am very happy to have a congressional representative that believes that the Corridor City Transitway is one of the #1 priorities for this county. What I want to try and do is make sure that those priorities are met. And that's going to be a long process. It's not going to be something that happens overnight. There will be no CCT that only goes to Metropolitan Grove as long as I'm a member of the council. So I can tell you right now that these are commitments and promises that I'm making to you. I hope you guys are taking notes. Because what I did back in 2011 is I made you promises. I've delivered. Not because I'm great, but because I'm able to talk to fellow council members and convince them about why you need to be a priority. That's all this is about. This isn't about whether or not it's the right decision. Everybody knows that the right decision is to make sure that the CCT comes to Town Center. I don't think that there's anybody who's saying, no, don't send it to Town Center. That would be a disaster or a mistake. What did I say before? It's all about the money. It's all about the money. And if we can continue to make sure that we have folks that understand that we are a priority, we will get the money necessary to make these things happen. That's what I'm committing to you. So when it comes to transportation, I agree. Transportation has to be there, but we're already on that track. Those are things that we're already working towards. You know, changing the MARC route from Clarksburg to Germantown, I can tell you right now, that was no easy feat, folks. To have to talk to the state at the last minute and come up with a deal to make sure that we now have this rapid route that goes directly from Clarksburg to the MARC station and connectivity.
Just elaborate a little bit on this bus service that you're hopefully instituting. What
Yes.
buses and what will...
Yes, well, it's actually, it's going to start in January. It starts January 14th. It will be free. And again, it's going to have, I think, about 3 stops here in Clarksburg at hubs where we have residential hubs, and those are still to be determined. And we'll go directly. It will not stop. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 directly to the MARC station. So it's a phenomenal plus for Clarksburg because, again, it's giving you access to mass transit that's very similar to what we have in Germantown, because in Germantown we don't have mass transit besides MARC, and again, it's that same connectivity issue.
Who's responsible for completing 75% of the roads in Clarksburg Town Center?
What we've done is we've said, look, we're not going to wait for developers when it comes to saying whether or not this road moves forward now. These things need to happen. Why should I allow you to be held hostage from a safety perspective and from a capacity perspective while we continue to see things happen around us?
Along 355, right now, before anything has been built, there's a school going up and there's sidewalks being put in and no transportation.
Hopefully in another month or so that we should be able to have a final deal with regards to all of the road infrastructure projects.
I'm looking forward to that.
When it comes to mass transit, that's something that's a little bit longer. But again, when we have great partners that are working with us at the federal, at the state level, and at the local level, I'm hopeful that we can really get some things going. There has been conversation, again, I've had this conversation with the Up County Citizens Advisory Board about the proposal of a direct route that would be a spin-off of our bus rapid transit that would directly connect Clarksburg Town Center to ComSat, to One Stop in Germantown, to Shady Grove, direct. I've had that conversation with Councilmember Mark Elrich, who is the grandfather of the bus rapid transit system network here in Montgomery County, and he is amenable. Our 1994 Clarksburg Master Plan had a long-range vision, 4 stages with triggers. 10 Mile Creek area is a part of stage 4. It's the final stage of development, and according to folks that believe that stage 4 triggers have been met, we now have a process that moves forward. The 10 Mile Creek area limited master plan amendment that the county council directed the planning department to study in October 2012 asked for recommended options of how to balance the development with the need to protect water quality within the watershed. The recommendation by the planning board to be transmitted to the county council will happen in the fall of 2013. Adventist Healthcare at the Cabin Branch site has a development plan that was filed with the planning board on March 7th, 2013. As far as the upcoming schedule goes, and again, this is subject to change, but currently there's going to be a meeting at the planning board on July 18th. The hearing examiner review is scheduled for July 29th. Any community input heard at the hearing examiner's meeting will be part of the official record.
They will take testimony. That testimony isn't part of the hearing examiner's record that goes up to the council, but you can talk there to persuade the planning board as you wish as to what their recommendation is going forward.
So if we felt strongly we should go to both?
You should go to both, yes.
There was a question in the back, sir.
Question. We can go back 10 or 20 years in this planning process. And at one time, Clarksburg was meant to be part of the high-tech corridor along 270. I haven't seen a slide for that yet. I just wonder if you're involved in that, or has it been a lost cause? Did we miss the boat?
That's a great question. You know, one of the things that we've seen with our ComSat site, which has frustrated me, is that we've been working with the county executive on a number of different potential folks that might have been interested in that site. And unfortunately, we just got caught up in a time where the economy was just bad. I've had great conversations with a number of business owners. I know our Department of Economic Development continues to work very hard to make sure that we bring replacement for ComSat. We bring high quality and high tech commercial to this area, to both Germantown as well as Clarksburg. I think we've done a reasonable job in Germantown. We haven't done anything in Clarksburg, and so that is a part of our negotiations and discussions. We met, I'd say, about a little over a year ago with some folks that were interested specifically in ComSat and doing some things. Unfortunately, that just didn't come to fruition, but I continue to remain committed and will continue to have meetings. And as I talk to folks and introduce to many technology owners, there are a lot of great potential things that can happen in the Clarksburg area.
My interest is Springtown Road.
I knew it. I thought I was going to be able to slide right on out of here without talking about Springtown Road. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let me tell you. Look, Stringtown Road is a priority. It actually was on that map list. I didn't talk about it. Stringtown Road is also deemed a traffic safety hazard for us. And so that's why it actually has a heightened level when it comes to the priority of roads that are going to be done. I'm very happy that the county executive is supportive in making sure that we address that road. That will be one of the top priority roads for us, because I know from the myriad of stories that we've heard, trust me, I can't come in Clarksburg without talking to someone about them knowing someone who's had an accident on Stringtown Road. I want to highlight a number of different things that are going on in the Clarksburg community, but one of which I was able to do this morning. I was at the 100,000 Homes campaign to end homelessness, and I made a commitment. I do that a lot, and then I have to work to make sure that it happens. So that's what I'm doing here this evening. I promised that I would have 100 volunteers to help me in November to make sure that we're helping to stamp out homelessness. We need volunteers to go out into the community and identify folks that are homeless and fill out some surveys so that we can try and address some of the homeless challenges that they're facing and get these folks homes. I want to thank you guys very, very much again for being great advocates for Clarksburg. The takeaway from this is, remember that I will be committed to making sure that we get Clarksburg and keep Clarksburg on track when it comes to town center, when it comes to making sure that we've got transportation, and making sure that you're involved in a process in which you have a say in what's happening in your community. So I thank you very much and encourage you to talk to some of the folks that will be staying afterwards. Again, Peterson and Adventist are here, as well as our planning department. So thank you very much, guys.